So, barring something drastic, Trevor Lawrence will be the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars at the start of the 2021 season. They control the first overall pick, and considering we've known for a very, very long time that the team with the 2021 first overall pick was more likely than not going to select Trevor Lawrence, we are just going to assume that, barring something drastic, or if Jacksonville takes someone else instead or trades the pick outright, that Trevor Lawrence will be the quarterback of the Jaguars. Me personally, if you guys watched my video about Zach Wilson the other day after BYU beat UCF in that bowl game, you'll know that I said if I had the first overall pick this year, I would take Zach Wilson. But Trevor Lawrence is a great building block. He's a great prospect in his own right, and he is likely going to make the Jacksonville Jaguars a lot better as a team. And the Jets losing out on the first overall pick these past few weeks, beating the Rams, beating the Browns, just proves one thing. Players will never tank. Teams, front offices can tank. Joe Douglas completely has a long leash considering the team he took over was absolute garbage, but players will literally never tank. You think Sam Darnold was going in with that Rams game with the mentality, okay, this team wants to get rid of me. They want to get the first overall pick so they can have a building block for the future. So I am going to play like absolute trash for a guy who could potentially replace me. Like I said, it just doesn't work that way. Everything you put on film in the NFL is more or less a resume going forward, or not even in the NFL, just college, high school, and yeah. The reason Joe Douglas has not fired Adam Gase yet is because he wanted the Jets to go 0-16. He wanted this team to get Trevor Lawrence, who has been crowned as the best quarterback prospect since Luck, and he is a great quarterback prospect. There's not a throw he can't make. Has literally zero off the field issues. He's married to his high school girlfriend. He's a really religious dude too, but this is basically a college football legend, and he's staying in SEC territory. He is going to the dirty, dirty South. He's staying in the dirty South. He is going to Jacksonville, Florida, which is, let's be honest, that's pretty much the South. He's from Georgia. He played college football in South Carolina, and now he's going to play in the hick part of Florida. So this dude has basically been around football all his life, culturally and everything, and he's been pretty damn good at it too. We knew that coming out of high school, Trevor Lawrence was the first overall pick in 2021. We also knew that he was the first overall player in his recruiting class. In his recruiting class in 2018, he was up there with guys like Fields, Parsons, Waddle, his teammate Justin Ross, and he has literally steamrolled all the college competitions since then. Clemson is a very good program in their own right, but they're a good program because they have Trevor Lawrence. I said in the video the other day that he's playing with Travis Etienne, who is going to the NFL. He is playing with Justin Ross, who I hope he gets that situation figured out, his injury situation figured out. And he also played with Hunter Renfrow and T. Higgins, who have made the NFL. And T. Higgins has been a baller this year. So yes, he is coming from a very, very good program. Now I've talked a little bit about Trevor Lawrence, why the Jets didn't get him, and kind of how he grew up, how he evolved from best player in college or best player in the country in high school to college football legend, to basically first overall guaranteed pick. The dude was just exceptional at everything he did. Clemson likely would have won 2 national championships if not for LSU fielding literally the best college team we have ever seen last year. And they're going for another one this year. I don't know if they're going to do it, but yeah, Trevor Lawrence is going to be a Jaguar. Let's talk about the Jaguars right now. This is a team that has had, let's just say, a very, very subpar locker room culture. They're basically doing an NBA-style rebuild right now because some of the players have acted like NBA players when they've wanted to get out. You think of Jalen Ramsey and you think of Yannick Ngakoue. They've basically traded every single key piece to that 2017 Saxonville defense that was one bad fumble call away from making the Super Bowl that year. Miles Jack still remains, and I don't know what they're going to do with him. He has an extension, but you know what the Jaguars have done? Any player they've gotten their hands on, they've traded. Last year, they spent their first 2 first-round picks on defense. They selected C.J. Henderson, cornerback from Florida, with the 9th overall pick. So this basically tells you that they love college players from the state of Florida. When they drafted Juwan Taylor the year before too, and they drafted Chase on 19th overall. Now their defense is horrible. Trevor Lawrence is not going to flip around this defense that has allowed 30 points or more in 9 games. So the lowest point total the Jaguars have allowed this year is 20. That was week 1. That was when Marlon Mack went down with his Achilles injury. And we basically thought, oh, maybe the Jaguars won't be so bad this year. Well, that was all just Minshew magic. Since then, the second lowest point total they have allowed is 24. The third lowest is 27. They allowed 27 points 4 separate times. And here are the other point totals they've allowed: 33, 31, 33, 30, 34, 39, 31, 40, 41. And yes, they are playing tough teams, but that is just remarkably bad. Trevor Lawrence will not fix that defense, but they are likely going to have a new administration. They are going to have a new head coach, and they are going to have a new offensive coordinator. They are going to have a new defensive coordinator. They are going to have a new GM. They are probably going to clean house after this year. I know Shahid Khan is not a good owner. I know that they have literally had one successful year this past millennium. That's probably a stretch. But this past decade, they've only had 1 year where they were worthy of doing anything, and it was basically carried by an elite defense. Shahid Khan is likely going to want to clean house. This is a unique opportunity to draft a very safe quarterback prospect, bring in an offensive coordinator that will help him out, bring in a coach that will help him out. Because at the end of the day, Trevor Lawrence is going to be a very attractive option to guys looking for an offensive coordinator or head coach job. And not only Trevor Lawrence, but they definitely have some pretty good weapons that they could help him out with. They have James Robinson, Laviska Shenault, DJ Chark, Keelan Cole, and probably a bunch of other guys who are mediocre that I'm missing but can pop at any given time. They have a lot of draft picks. They are going to use their first overall pick, barring a trade down on Trevor Lawrence. And if they trade down, this video just goes out the window. It's very irrelevant. Barring a trade down, they will pick Trevor Lawrence. And they also own the Rams pick. If the Rams lose this week, they could be picking as high as number 17. So with the number 17 overall pick, it is not an option. They have to go O-line. They have to keep Trevor Lawrence upright. They have a lot of picks in this upcoming draft. Their only solution, they're probably going to lose games by 40 or 50 points next year, just because their defense has been gutted with talent. It ain't going to get much better besides C.J. Henderson and Caleb Chason taking the next step in their sophomore seasons. For years and years, the Jaguars were never ever bad enough to get the first overall pick. They were always top 7 at very least. They were always picking very high, but this is their chance to turn it around because they finally have the chance to draft a franchise savior. The biggest mistake the Jets made in their tank was firing Greg Williams, who ran cover 0 on an obvious Hail Mary situation. The Jaguars kept their defensive coordinator, and like I said, their defense was abysmal this year. Because of their defensive incompetence, they might opt for a defensive head coach like Robert Saleh, but at the end of the day, I think Saleh is going to go to Houston, considering the Texans defense has just let them down at every possible moment since Deshaun Watson has entered the league. Arthur Smith from the Tennessee Titans is likely going to be another candidate as well, because being in the division, the Jaguars have undoubtedly seen that Arthur Smith can run an offense. The only problem is they do not have Derrick Henry on their roster, so who knows if Arthur Smith's offense in Tennessee is going to carry over to Jacksonville and would work if he was hired. Another name people have been throwing out a lot is Eric Bieniemy, but we've seen with Matt Nagy in Chicago that Reed assistants don't always work out, and I'm not going to say they're on their way to becoming Belichick assistants, and having that bad of a track record, but because, at the end of the day, Doug Peterson did win a Super Bowl, but we can't just keep hiring guys because the guy they coached under. Brian Dable is also a good candidate, which is very weird to say because it seems like at the end of 2019, a lot of Bills fans were literally calling for his head. Brian Dable played a huge part in that, and the fact that their offense is now lethal. I personally think the Bills are the best team in the league right now. Here's who the Jaguars have taken: 2nd overall, 3rd overall, 4th overall, 5th overall, 7th overall, 8th overall, 9th overall, and 10th overall. 2nd overall, they took Luke Joeckel in 2013. Third overall, they took Blake Bortles in 2014. Fourth overall, they took Leonard Fournette in 2017, which is probably the worst pick on this list. Fifth overall, they took Justin Blackmon in 2012. Fifth overall, they also took Jalen Ramsey in 2016. Seventh overall, they took Josh Allen and Byron Leftwich, which were two good picks. Eighth overall, they took Derek Harvey. Ninth overall, they took Reggie Williams. 10th overall, they took Blaine Gabbert. So that is very rough, and now they literally can't screw it up. There's literally no excuses anymore. But yeah, where does Jacksonville go from here? Boatloads of cap space, a lot of draft picks. They are going to do everything in their power to help Lawrence be successful as a player, because at the end of the day, this is not an opportunity that comes around very often, and this is what they tanked all year for. This is why they were sitting a healthy Minshew in favor of Mike Lennon, because they wanted the first overall pick, and they were banking on the Jets to win a game. Now that the Jets have won 2 games, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock, and they're probably going to select, barring trade down, barring something drastic, they're going to select Trevor Lawrence. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are not already, follow me on Twitter, link is in the description below. Anyways guys, have a good day, and peace out.